It's summertime hot out. Getting there. Is the market hot? Let's find out from our friends at Blue Oak Realty Group. Jeff Snide joins us this morning. You want a real estate professional to help you navigate. It's not an easy process. You need somebody that understands it, is very familiar with the area you're looking at. So if you're looking at the south side of the lake, blueoakrealtygroup.com. Jeff, good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning.
All right, so summertime. Is it summertime happiness? Is it summertime sadness? Which song am I playing on my tape deck as I'm looking at homes right now, you think?
Well, I think the soundtrack when you're going house to house ought to be happy no matter what.
Yeah.
Especially when it's weather like this.
Oh, I know. Gorgeous weather this week. And especially when they're working with a professional like you, right, Jeff?
Well, when it comes to music, I might lighten up a little bit. And when a good playlist comes on, the windows go down, and that's just the way it's going to be. But,
we got three properties off exit 23. We're going now. That's what you get cruising. That's what you do with your clients. I like it.
Yeah. Yep. So, it's, I got a handful of listings going right now. We talk about people transitioning and there's a need no matter what the market is to move, upsize, downsize, whatever the
life
case
happens.
may be. Yeah.
No matter what the market's doing.
It's, you both have heard me say it before, you cannot wait for a headline to make up your mind. And this is one of those moments, right? I mean, we have interest rates for mortgage interest rates going up.
Going up? I thought they were going to go down. They went up. Oh, wow.
Yeah. See how that went? That was a headline that said they were going to go down.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. Well, I probably said it. I don't know.
I probably said it too. But, you see something like that. I mean, we're still down quarter point from a year ago, but we're up almost 0.4 from a month ago. So you have that. You have this thing in Iran going longer than we thought.
The Strait of Hormuz, I believe, is what they call it.
Yeah. And some nights it makes people think, God, this should be the Straits of Vermouth. Because, it changes some stuff up, right? It affects things like gasoline. I mean, now, start of the month, we're paying $4+ a gallon at the pump. And so there's all these emotional triggers. So right now, I'm seeing things slow down a little bit. I think if buyers were smart, they've picked up a little more leverage in the last month or so.
You think they're all like in a text chat together, working on it? Like, hey, let's slow this thing down a little bit.
Boy, that'd be nice to know if that exists. Maybe I don't want to know, actually. Maybe I take that back. Like, I don't want to know that it's that coordinated. But, yeah, you look at things like that, and I think just emotionally it weighs on people a little bit. And, again, they're waiting for that headline, just something to make them feel better. And, you're still having twins and need an extra bedroom. You're still relocating to wherever it is you're going.
I think back to when even I started this venture here at WSSC a couple years ago. And we were doing a podcast before that. The idea that interest rates, the market's not always going to sit this same way. 2-3 years is a huge swing in a real estate market. It can be complete opposite ends of the spectrum from time to time, and it typically is if you look at it based on a micro segment like that. So you got to have a professional that knows what they're doing. How many times are you talking to clients and there's is there a lot of misconceptions out there? Like when you're on a listing appointment, it's like the internet rumors just about everything just still flying high, or are people really educated at this point and they're asking the right questions?
I think the education levels overall are increasing. That probably goes with a lot of things is just more and more people dig in, and it becomes probably generationally even where, that next set of buyers is finally ready and look how they approach things versus how we did likely with our first house, right? So I feel they're more educated. They seem to feel compelled to do a little more legwork up front, and I certainly appreciate that. But yes, there are still misconceptions out there, or just admittedly a lack of knowledge in terms of all of the nuances that go along with it. Which that's where someone like myself comes in.
You've been in real estate for what, 20 years, we'll say, give or take?
13.
13. You've probably experienced a client for a time or two.
Yep.
A little bit uncertain, a little bit of panic going on. Yep. So to that seller, right, that's saying, I don't know if it's the right time even to try to put it on the market. What's your thoughts on that for the seller maybe that's hesitating, given that, you are seeing inventory increase, right?
Yep.
There are buyers have more choice, but maybe someone is considering selling. What do you say to that person that's considering it?
It is so dependent on each person's scenario. I mean, I have that going right now where one that I just listed on Friday, that timing was working backwards on the calendar from when they need to leave and where 4th of July is landing. In my mind, with it landing on a weekend this time, you're going to have a bunch of people utilizing the week before for vacation, the week after. And so I really think that's going to be a couple slow weeks. So I'm timing around that. There's someone else. We're not on the market yet, but they have their own timing. They have a little more flexibility. And when they have to leave the state, they got a situation where the next door neighbor with similar home stats in terms of room count and size, whatever, went on the market after we started talking about this. They're not under contract yet. And so we're just trying to figure out and where to slot it in on that. If it's a conversation where the person is trying to strategize around something market driven, short term no less, I really try and get them off of that, mindset and focus on their specifics. But yeah, it's very different, but I'm always trying to time around something that's relative to their calendar, their strategy and situation. All my listings right now are people leaving the state.
Two things in real estate: location. That's number one, and then number two, always try to find out motivation. That's what I think is super powerful for buyers and sellers.
Oh yeah.
When you're working with the buyer and seller, North Carolina the standardized form that majority of people use here, Form 2T is what it's called, is an as-is contract in North Carolina, right? The standards broken. Yep. So that coming to terms in the contract, how important is that phase rather than just, I think back to 2021 and 2022, people were throwing numbers out there, Jeff, throwing numbers out.
Yes.
In 2026, how important is it to really think through all the terms of that initial agreement rather than assume something can change before the deal closes?
I've always found it to be important. You go back to the time that you referenced when things were so crazy, and as much as people wanted to, you get multiple offers, and as much as a seller would want to take that highest number, it's like, okay, there's excellent, but there's also crazy. And, maybe this third highest offer, look at all these secondary terms that really offer you more protection, align with your timeline better, and whatever. Are you willing to give up X for these other things, a deal that has a much higher chance of getting all the way to the closing table and signing? And I still think that's important now, but definitely those secondary terms, that helps find or set the path, if you will, set the course for a win-win.
We're talking with Jeff Snye of Blue Oak Realty Group, blueoakrealtygroup.com, south side here of the lake. You know it well. You obviously have listings going on for the buyers right now. Probably a lot of fun to work with if you got a qualified buyer in this marketplace. How much control do the buyers have right now when you're working with them and going and negotiating deals with sellers?
I think they have more time to make their decision. It's not necessarily something. I never want my folks to, really like a house and then sit on it for a month and just still kind of hem and haw. But it's not something where you go see it and 2 hours later we have to be writing a deal. There is time for those. There's always that group of people that like to sleep on a decision, and that's fine. There is time to sleep on it now. There is time and the ability to ask for more things and just kind of figure it out. And overall, I think that's healthier for a long-term market where you have that balance, where you do, I said earlier, that win-win. Our culture here is very win-win, and so having that opportunity to do so just kind of lays the foundation for a much more smooth transaction overall.
Blue Oak Realty Group coming up on July 4th. You mentioned that lull period, that week before, week after. How do you manage that expectation? If you go to a listing appointment, you're sitting down with a seller and they're like, "Look, I want to sell." Do you talk about timeline at all? Like, what's a reasonable timeline if you're just starting the process of, I'm going to talk to a broker now about actually selling my house? What's a reasonable timeline you think to get it to the market to showcase to buyers?
Again, it completely depends. I met with someone on Friday, and we are full speed ahead on their listing. I think we have one little kink to work out, so we might not. I don't think we're going to hit this Friday, but absolutely by next weekend we're up. But a lot of times you can turn it that fast. But other times, and with this, again with the holiday, it's like, well, can we afford to wait or can we rush it and get a good 3 weekends or so of solid activity before we kind of get quiet?
Jeff Snide, Blue Oak Realty Group, blueoakrealtygroup.com.
Thank you.